In the words of a very popular TikTok audio. And with that, the 2022 season comes to a close. The 2022 Super Bowl, well, I guess technically 2023 Super Bowl, but Super Bowl 57 is officially in the books. The Kansas City Chiefs are Super Bowl champions once again. The city of Philadelphia is on fire once again, and there's nothing anyone can do to stop it. Kadin and I are here to recap the Super Bowl, all of the madness that went down, and really just take you through what was, in my opinion, and hopefully Kadin's as well, but we'll get into that, a really fantastic Super Bowl. We hope that you guys enjoy. Welcome to K&A Football.
That is the stupidest thing I've ever seen in my life.
If you're just listening on audio, I am now wearing a party hat.
That is made for a 2-year-old because it doesn't fit your face. Yeah.
Some of you may be wondering, why am I wearing a party hat? Is it because the Kansas City Chiefs won the Super Bowl? It's not. Actually.
Oh, it's not.
It's not, actually. I'm wearing this party hat because one of my best friends has a birthday.
Oh, I apologize, man. Hey.
You like this hat now?
I do like that hat.
Yeah, man.
I'm sorry. I am so sorry.
That was weird.
I was going to go for the fist bump and then like...
Do you want a hat? It's your birthday.
You know what? Thank you.
On Wednesday, it will be...
non-negotiable.
Yes,
I do have to wear it for sure?
Yeah,
All right.
definitely.
Debbie command so.
What are you doing?
Wrong way.
Why are you incompetent putting on hats?
Dude, I'm sorry. I don't put these on much.
It's elastic.
You can talk.
No, this is comedy right here. Caden's really bad at it. There you go.
Hey, there we go.
This is good.
This is good. I like
This
that.
is
Good
a
idea,
party.
Austin. I appreciate that.
Yeah. Well, you know what you have to do for a party, right? You have to fight for the right to party, in the words of Travis Kelce.
We were talking about this a minute ago. Get to the stupid game.
All right, before we get into the quote stupid game, this episode is made possible by Prince Florists and K&F Construction. Stay tuned throughout the video to hear more about them. Obviously, before we jump into all of the craziness of the Super Bowl, I have a quick question for you before we jump into that. And that would be, after experiencing the Super Bowl, how many Super Bowls have you like legitimately watched?
I think the first one I really remember watching was, what was that? I've been 49 or 48. What was the year where Russell Wilson threw a pick at the one?
That was 49.
49, and that's the one I remember. First one I remember watching.
Same. So, we've been around the block with these Super Bowls.
It's been, what, 8 then?
8 Super Bowls. In all of those years, what would you say your favorite Super Bowl snack is?
Snack.
Yeah, number 1. What is it?
Man. Well, what's up with the last 2 weeks? You got these really tough questions, man. Probably just like, some type of like meat. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know, just a wing.
Yeah, that's good. That's solid.
Man, I probably just got like a wing.
Just wings?
What are you laughing at?
Yeah, that's pretty clutch. I'll tell you what the best one is. Okay.
It's probably something I've never heard of.
Nah, okay, so like, you've heard of like crappy like microwave pizzas or like a crappy like, I don't know, Little Caesars pizza, right?
Sure.
Right, so you get like one of those crappy pizzas, and then like,
There's a lot of hate. Right.
obviously you have like, it's a Super Bowl party, so you have like nachos, right? You got like the cheese sauce. You put the cheese sauce on the pizza, and that's what you eat during the Super Bowl.
That sounds...
That's the number 1 right there.
That is an Austin take.
That's an Austin take, bro. That's good stuff right there.
Snack.
Yeah.
All right.
Is that what you had yesterday for the Super Bowl?
Actually, no, I didn't have that yesterday. Actually, we have the Super Bowl yesterday was a cheese ball. You know, like the big one, like the big like, cheese ball that you use like crackers.
Really?
That's delicious right there.
I've never had those. Those look
homemade
weird to me.
whoopie pies.
Oh, that's good.
That was really good. Yeah. But before we jump into the recap, I know that I asked you a really tough question, but it is imperative that all of you pay attention right now, very quickly. Get very close. Get my close up, Debbie. Very close. This is very important information. Okay. I told you earlier that this episode was made possible by Prince Florists. Let me tell you, tomorrow is Valentine's Day. It may not be an important day of the year. I certainly don't think so. But your special someone might. And so you need to make sure that you reserve your Valentine's Day flowers with Prince Florists. Get ahead of the game by reserving your Valentine's Day flowers today. Guys, it's one day before Valentine's Day. If you haven't reserved it yet, I don't know what you're doing. You got to get on that. Prince Florists in Canton is now accepting reservations for roses and costume bouquets. So you can be the hero when the big day arrives. That's tomorrow. Get on it. Let's go, guys. Avoid the stress of last-minute shopping. Too late. It's already last minute. Let's get on this. And make sure your special someone knows how much they mean to you. Place your order at princeflorist.com. That's PRINTZ florist.com. Make sure you click the link in the description so that way they know that we sent you.
Yeah.
Now, officially, let's get into the recap.
The K&A Week Recap.
I'm just filtering the old slides.
Oh, okay. Well, you can
just
filter
filter
through
the
those.
players.
All right. Yeah, that seems legit. Okay. Caden, I'm going to take off the hat. It's kind of...
It's okay. I was going to
It's
wonder
kinda
as well
bothering
because,
me.
first of all, I can't take you serious or myself serious because I can just picture this on my head and I'm like, but I appreciate the idea, man. It was very thoughtful.
Yeah, I was going to get you like a Kansas City jersey or something, but those are sort of a little expensive. And
I know I
wouldn't
don't
get
fit
here
that
in time.
budget.
No. And they wouldn't get here in time if I ordered online. So, to kick things off, Super Bowl, biggest game in American sports. Not quite the world, but it's getting there. At the beginning of the Super Bowl, there was obviously the national anthem. Sing it. Oh my goodness, my table keeps on like buckling. I don't.
Oh no,
Oh,
he's
no.
breaking the set.
I am. That's on me. There we go. Okay, it's fixed.
The national anthem.
National anthem, sung by Chris Stapleton, who you mistook for a female.
Dude, I did.
In the
I got
Pick'ems
a
episode.
lot of hate for that. I'm sorry to Chris Stapleton and Chris Stapleton fans. I do not listen to country music clearly. At
No,
all.
I understand.
So
That's
like,
a-
did
yeah.
you realize when I said that?
Here's what happened. Is I realized that you said she when we were talking about Chris Stapleton,
And you knew just as much as I did.
and
So you were
I
like,
was like, I was a little convinced that it was a male, but I really don't know that much about country music, and I know it's a country singer. So, and Chris is like a
yeah, it can go
it's
both
interchangeable,
ways. Right.
So I was like, we'll let it slide, and then I did, and then someone was like, "Hey, that guy's an idiot." And I was like, I should have corrected him, but it was
Okay.
too late at that point. But the official time on the national anthem, 2 minutes and 1 second. So the under hit. All of us here were wrong. I think we all took the over on that.
Yeah, we did.
So that was very unfortunate.
It was a good national anthem, though.
it
Nick
was-
Sirianni moved him to tears.
Yeah, that was very moving. I was very happy to see that. Unfortunately, those were not the last tears that he shed yesterday. But so the kickoff happens. The actual game.
Yeah.
Right. I think that we should just take this little by little, walk through the whole game as it is. So opening drive.
Oh, well, if we're gonna do that, rewind a little bit. Me and you at church.
I wasn't going to bring this up because we don't endorse things like
The
this,
JK.
but that's fine. No, we'll go with it.
Okay.
We'll roll with it.
We made a little $2 bet, so it's nothing like crazy, just for fun. Me, Austin, Debbie, Margaret, and a couple other people made a couple like just like a $2 bets and like $1 bet just
Yeah.
for fun. And I'd bet Austin $2 so that the opening kickoff would not be a touchback. And I was wrong, which I really did think it looked like he squib kicked it, and I was like, and then it just somehow soared all the way to the end zone. I was like, how did that even happen? But now I'm down $2, but it's okay.
Easiest $2 I've ever made. Of course, it was going to be a touchback. Of course. So Eagles opening drive. Honestly, not much to be said. They literally took control. I mean, it was honestly everything that I thought it would be. They marched all the way down the field, scored a touchdown, which is very important because I had made a $2 bet with Debbie that the first score of the game would be a touchdown and not a field goal. And so there was a $4 right to me. 2 bets on the day, 2 for 2.
Yeah, I mean, they moved down with ease. I mean, they looked unstoppable. And the first drive, it took about 5 to 6 minutes, and you're like, wow, that was. I mean, they showed no like jitters or fears. Like they looked like they came right out of the NFC Championship, and they were like, all right, let's play, and they moved right down. And then the Chiefs get the ball, so it's already 7-0. Mahomes goes on, and dude, they did it in like 3 plays.
Yeah, exact so quick. Yeah, they immediately went down, matched it, scored, and you're like, all right, this is what we came for.
Shootout. It was good.
We came for a shootout. We came for a high-scoring game, and it looked like that's exactly what we were going to get. And fortunately, it was.
Yeah, it was a very good game. And then throughout the first half and throughout pretty much the whole game, players were slipping like crazy all over the field. It was like a big issue. Like on one of the kickoffs, the kicker slipped.
Mm-hmm.
Thankfully, he was able to get enough power to get the ball like far enough that it wasn't going to be like a 2-yard kick, because that would change the whole course of the game.
Right.
But a lot of players were slipping, and the Chiefs played in Arizona in week 1. And a lot of the Chiefs players were complaining back in week 1 about the field. Same stadium, and they're still complaining about it. But word came out that they'd been preparing that field for 2 years, like out some artificial place. For 2 seasons, they spent like $800,000 on it. And it turned out to be like crappy, terrible field. Players were slipping like crazy.
Yeah, and you could see that like they kept on like kind of tearing up the turf.
Mm-hmm.
Like obviously when they had like the big shot of like the whole field, you couldn't see it. But whenever they would have like the cameras down low where you could like see all the action, you could see that like the field was like completely torn up, which was like shocking for a game played on turf. That's normally what you see if a game is played on actual grass field, is that you'll see it torn up, you'll see the dirt come up. But it was awful conditions.
Yeah, and then at halftime, they had a bunch of people like after halftime out on the field picking up like bits and pieces and trying to like even it out. It's just like not a great look.
And not a great look if you're spending 2 years and $800,000 on a field that ended up being destroyed. But
as someone who plays half the year on grass and half the year on turf fields, they should just switch to grass fields.
I mean, that's what players were lobbying for all season, because of non-contact injuries and all that. Yeah, for sure.
I mean, you feel like, I'm telling you right now, if your like knee isn't 100% and you step on turf, every single time you plant into the turf, you're gonna feel everything that's wrong with your knee. If you're on grass, it's so forgiving. They really should just like switch to grass. NFL, fix that.
But then, so it's 7-7 now. There's a couple of drives where there's just a punt, like not much, but not too many. And then a couple of drives later, the Eagles, 50-yard bomb, AJ Brown, great throw and catch to the left side of the end zone, 50-yard touchdown. Eagles go up 14-7.
If I'm being honest with you, I'm going to contest that a little bit. I don't think it was that great of a throw. It was kind of like, in my opinion, like the Patrick Mahomes of like a season ago, the 2 seasons ago, where he's just like, yeah, Tyreek's down there somewhere. Down it goes. He threw that ball into double coverage, and it was just like the sheer like fantasticness of AJ Brown that caught that ball.
Yeah. I mean, he did get it more to the left.
Definitely.
Made sure he got it away from the defenders, because he tried it again later in the game, but that one was way to the right and kind of underthrown more, and so it was batted away. So this one was a good throw. It's why I feel like get it there. I mean, 50 yards. 50 yards. 50 yards. We couldn't do that, but yeah, I get what you mean. I guess it was a little underthrown. AJ Brown did make a great play on the ball for sure.
Yeah, AJ Brown was honestly like the one player where the turf field did not seem to affect him at all. I mean, he would run a slant at full speed, right, catch it 3 yards down the field, and immediately stop, take it the other way, and just like turn that 3-yard catch into a 15-yard gain.
Yeah, AJ Brown was making all Titans fans cry in the Super Bowl.
True. Sorry, man. So obviously this game had everything, including but not limited to a doinked field goal. Everyone loves a doinked field goal. Obviously, it's the most sinking feeling in the world when
your team
does it. But it can be a little comical when it happens, and it makes such a disheartening noise when it does. It's very distinct. You can hear it, like it hits the upright, it's like donk. You know exactly what it is from anywhere. So the Chiefs doinked a field goal, which would have put them up 10-7 at that point. But ended up giving the Eagles the ball back, and that's when Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown connected for that 50-yard touchdown.
Mm-hmm. And then so the Eagles get the ball back again. They're already leading 14-7. They snap it to Hurts, and he runs. He's not hit or really anything. He's moving the ball from his left hand to his right hand and kind of just loses control of the ball. It slips, and like he's kind of falling to grab it and gets tackled sort of at the same time. The ball bounces literally perfectly. I mean, football's obviously, if you've ever held and dropped a football, you know they kind of randomly how they bounce. It's like jagging just goes crazy. This one had a perfect bounce. It was like a basketball. It just went straight up, perfectly right into Nick Bolton's hands, the linebacker for the Chiefs. Literally no one near him. Takes it around 40 yards back for the tying touchdown. So that was you got everything in this game. You got doink kicks, you got 50-yard touchdowns, you got good long drives, you got defensive touchdowns. That's what you want to see in the best game of the year.
Yeah. And one thing, as a Browns fan, especially this year with Jacoby Brissett in for the majority part of the year, I was very used to seeing in short yardage situations, specifically 1 yard, very used to seeing a quarterback sneak. And more often than not, we would get it. The Eagles decide to be like, okay, so some teams, right, they'll quarterback sneak it, and sometimes you'll get it, and sometimes you won't. It's a little bit of a gamble, but generally, if everyone falls forward, you should get it. The Eagles say, no, we will get every single one. How, you may ask? Well, we're going to take the best offensive line that football has ever seen, and then we're going to take Jalen Hurts, who runs like Cam Newton. Like, he's just like, if he needs the yards, he's getting the yards. And then they put their two running backs behind the quarterback, and just everyone plows forward. Okay, offensive line shoves forward. Jalen Hurts shoves forward. The running backs push Jalen Hurts forward, and just everyone just boom. It didn't matter. There was one point where what's the Chiefs' notable pass rusher?
Chris Jones.
Chris Jones. Yes. This has happened like 4 times where the Eagles would line up like this, and you know exactly what they're going to do.
The whole world knows what's
everyone
happening.
knows what they're going to do, but they do it anyways, and it works. He was so tired of this, he's like, okay, generally, you go low. This time, I'm going high. He jumps over the offensive line, okay, hits Jalen Hurts, and Jalen Hurts says, I don't care. And everyone just keeps going forward, and they push through, and they get the first down. It's absolute domination in those short yardage situations.
They got it 100% of the time all season. It was the most unstoppable play. It doesn't matter if you're at your own 30-yard line, and it's 4th and 1, and you're the Eagles, you're like, okay. Like, every other team's like, yep, we're punting this ball. Like, we can't risk it. They're like, okay, we have a guaranteed 1-yard play. Like, they literally, it's impossible to stop.
Yes.
And it's only 1 yard, but it is a complete game changer.
In a game of inches, 1 yard is quite a bit.
Yeah, it's a game changer.
Absolutely. Right before halftime, huge. Everyone thought that this was going to be it for the Chiefs. Right before halftime, Patrick Mahomes started scrambling. He gets out of the pocket. He's like, well, don't see anyone downfield. Here we go. Takes off. And then he gets tackled from behind, but they kind of grab his ankle as he goes down. And he gets up and he's limping. Looks like he's in a lot of pain.
Goes to the sideline. He's in a lot of pain.
Sideline. Yeah. And you're like, oh no, this is going to be it for the Chiefs, man. Like, if they don't have Mahomes, Mahomes on one leg is better than every quarterback, but like against this Eagles defense, like Chad Henne isn't going to come in and lead him to victory here. Like, this is going to be it for him.
I mean, he's done so much in his career with, like, I'm not hating here, like, in meaningful games. I mean, against the Browns a couple seasons ago in the divisional round, came in, helped them get the win there.
Yeah, thanks for that.
Earlier this playoff run against the Jags, executed a 98-yard drive. I mean, so he's capable of doing things, but obviously in the Super Bowl, you're already down against the best, obviously the top 2 team in the league. I no way. And so everyone's like, oh boy, this like you said, this might be it for the Chiefs. Fortunately for Mahomes, he has an extended halftime, break because the Rihanna halftime show, and like they gotta fix the field clearly because it's crap, and so the Super Bowl is always a long halftime show. So he's got more time. So he goes off. The Eagles get the ball back, and they're moving down the field. They throw a deep shot to Devontae Smith, who had a great game. First of all, he was making plays everywhere. But he had a nice sideline catch. I think it was sideline, right? Yeah. And everyone's like, okay, hurry. Kind of like last week, or last game, I guess, against the 49ers. and they quickly look, overturn it, incomplete. So, did you think it was a catch? I mean, they made the right call.
I mean, honestly, yeah, I thought it was a catch.
You did?
I did. Like, I really didn't see anything where I would be like, yeah, that's not a catch. On the Dallas Goedert catch later in the game that they ruled a catch, like, I can see, I don't understand why the Dallas Goedert catch was ruled a catch and the Devonta Smith catch was not. But it's what it is.
It's 2023. We do not know what is a catch.
We still don't know what a catch is.
We do not know what a catch is.
We're like over 10 years removed from the not catch by Des Bryant, and we still don't know what a catch is.
We will never know.
No one will ever know what a catch is.
Did he make a football move?
No. What's a football move?
Whatever. But then we go to halftime. Rihanna comes out. But first, we got to go the K&A halftime show.
Exactly.
K&F Construction has been serving the Northeast Ohio community for over 16 years, specializing in composite decks. K&F Construction takes the time and effort to provide the service and product that you deserve for your home. You can call K&F Construction today at 330-575-2465 for a free estimate. Again, that's 330-575-2465. You can also visit kfdex.com, which is linked in the description. K&F Construction, let us build your dream backyard. So now back to the regularly scheduled podcast.
Also, really quick, this was a good point that was brought up to me last night. Wouldn't it be kind of weird if concerts had a short football game in the middle?
It would.
That'd be really weird. So why on earth, in the biggest game of the year, do we have a little concert in the middle? I don't like it.
You don't
like
it. So you'd rather watch, like, I don't even know who the Fox Dudes are. You'd rather watch 55-year-old Terry Bradshaw be like, oh, and Mahomes is hurt. Yeah, I saw that. I watched. You know what they're gonna say. You watch the game.
Here's what
you don't need their expert analysis. They know just as much as you do. They watch the game just like you did. Get some entertainment.
Here's what I want. I've never
heard someone actually hate the halftime show. That's crazy.
I've never watched a halftime show and been like, yeah, that was really good and fulfilled everything that I wanted.
No, you don't go into it thinking that. You're going into it thinking, okay, it's a break from the game. The teams are regrouping.
No, when I want a break from the game and halftime rolls around, you know what I do? Maybe I'll play a card game with some people. Maybe I'll get some of that delicious food that's in the kitchen, put more queso on my pizza.
Okay.
That's what I want. I don't want to watch that. So I've never watched the halftime show.
So you clearly did not watch yesterday's.
I did not watch yesterday.
Okay, I did. I thought it was pretty good. I mean,
That's
I'm not a Rihanna fan by any means, but I thought it was a listen-to-able halftime show.
Take away from that is that Kadin is a Rihanna fan.
That is literally the opposite of what I said, but it was all right. I mean, it's better than listening to the 99-year-old Terry Bradshaw talk about Mahomes getting injured, because we all saw that. But yeah, the halftime show happens. It's pretty good. Everyone catches up on their food. That's what
exactly.
Us
That's
do.
what you need to do.
Whatever. You can do both. You listen to the music.
No, not that.
Whatever. All right. And then we go to the second half.
Yeah. Second half, Chiefs get the ball back, which honestly, in my mind, gutsy decision to win the coin toss and then defer.
Clearly, it didn't work in the first half. They were expecting a stop, and they just marched right down. And they're like, "Oh shit!
Oh boy!" But it ended up working out because the Chiefs then get the ball back, and they're able to. Do they at this point tie the game?
Because they were down by 10.
They were down by 10.
I believe, yeah.
Yeah, you were right. They're down by 10, so now they're only down by 3 because they marched down the field. Go ahead and score, as happens. Like that, and then the game kind of continues along these lines where they just continue to score, and then the next team scores, and they kind of copycat each other throughout the whole game. If one team scores, they score.
Yeah, if one punts, it punts.
One team punts, the next team punts. It's just like they kind of copycat the rest of the game. One question. Yeah, exactly. One question that I have for you: how is Travis Kelce always open?
Dude, we were all at a party watching this game. Me and a bunch of my friends. We asked the exact, every single play. He's the best player on that team. You think you have 2 weeks to film or to prepare? You think you double team him, triple team him, maybe? Dude, how is he wide open? It's not like he burned a guy. There's no one near him. He just finds the soft spots in the zones. I don't know how. And it's not like he's just some crazy fast receiver. He's a tight end. He's a fast tight end, but how is he getting so open? I could not tell you. I asked myself the exact same question. Every single play, it's like, oh, Kelsey's open. And it got to the point where, Juju's open.
Yeah.
Juju had 7 catches in this game. He had more than Kelsey.
Yeah. Honestly, I half wonder if Kelsey just even has routes, or if he just kind of like runs whatever he wants to run.
Saying that like he wasn't running his routes, he's just kind of like being unpredictable and just running out there, and then they just throw the ball to him.
Yeah, I mean that's what I was wondering, because like a lot of times, like especially at this level, like you kind of have to run your route because the quarterback knows what play you're running, the receivers know what play you're running, and so a lot of times quarterbacks like they won't even look at their receivers; they'll look at where the safety is, to look at where the linebackers are, and then they'll throw it to where the receiver should be. Apparently, not the Chiefs, because Travis Kelce just seems to do whatever the heck he wants, and Mahomes just like watches him the whole way and is like, "Yep, to Kelce."
Yeah, it's completely different than if you're playing backyard football and
You're running whatever you want, anyways.
Get open, and
Yeah.
you have no blitzers, so you just stand back there for like 8 years, and then when someone's finally open, you throw it. That's what our neighbors do, and it is the most annoying thing ever because plays take 10 minutes. But whatever, that's a story
That's
for
beside the point.
another podcast. Whatever. But yeah, like you said, they were just matching them. A lot of points were being scored. It was an entertaining Super Bowl, which everyone wants to see points. No one's like, I want to see a 10-13 game. No, that's boring. So like everyone was super pumped with how the game was going, except for Chiefs and Eagles fans. They probably would rather have dominated.
Right.
But it was a really fun game to watch. The Chiefs were running the ball really well. Isaiah Pacheco was doing his work. He looked like this superstar running back. That's a rookie.
In the 6th round, drafted in the 6th round of the draft, man.
Running backs are they're valuable, but they're so easy to find. I mean, the Panthers traded away McCaffrey this season, and then they bring in Dante Foreman, however you want to say his name, and Chuba Hubbard. They end up being one of the top 2 running back duos in the league the rest of the season. Who would have ever thought that? Nobody.
Yeah. Pacheco reminds me a lot of Kareem Hunt in the way that he's like small and really fast.
He's on the Chiefs.
And he's on the Chiefs, but he's not afraid of contact at all. Like he's small and fast, and so you'd think that he just like would go down on contact, but he like will initiate and he'll hit you, and he doesn't care. He reminds me a lot of him in that way. But the Chiefs had, in classic Andy Reid fashion, had some of the best red zone play calls. There was kind of back-to-back Chiefs drives where Kadarius Toney was literally left all alone. Like I don't know where the Eagles defenders were, but they apparently decided Kadarius Toney wasn't worth guarding. And then on the very next Chiefs drive, same thing with Juju on the other side. Sky Moore, you're right.
Even more wide open.
Even more, like there was like just nobody. I mean, and then they show the replay, and you're like, well, that was a fantastic play call because you see Sky Moore motion in like he's gonna run a crossing route, and then he just like stops and goes the other way, and the guy that was supposed to be covering him just like keeps going on the crossing route like he's doesn't even know where he is.
I think everybody was really happy to see. We did see another ring around the rosy play.
Yes.
It didn't result in a touchdown.
It did not result in a touchdown, which was unfortunate.
But they did run it, which is so funny to do in the Super Bowl.
I half expected the Chiefs because Andy Reid, I half expected them to run a Philly special just to rub it in Philadelphia's face. That would have been kind of awesome.
But Mahomes can't really like run to go catch a pass and jump up. I'm sure that'd be so great on his ankle.
I'm sure it would be. Definitely. Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
Let's talk about him for 1 second.
He lost this game, but
He lost the game, but to be completely honest with you, I think that he had one of the best Super Bowl performances maybe ever. I mean, he passed super well. He went 27 for 38 on 304 yards. He was also the Eagles' leading rusher with 70 yards. And if I'm not mistaken, that's a Super Bowl record for rushing yards.
in a Super Bowl,
Yeah, in a Super Bowl.
I could not tell you. I know that he broke the record
for the quarterback anyway. For a quarterback,
Right? Yeah, that I do know. I know he broke the record for like most. He had 3 rushing touchdowns and however many passing yards you said he had. That broke the
308.
record,
Yeah,
for sure. But I mean, yeah, he played out of his mind. He outplayed Mahomes by a mile in this game.
he did. Yeah,
But I mean, Mahomes won MVP, rightfully so. They won, but
Yep.
he had 182 passing yards, 3 touchdowns. Yeah, I mean, you got your team to win. He came back, played on his now even more messed up ankle. So yeah, you do got to give him his props there. But you almost like, when do you start to be like, okay, maybe we should still give the MVP to Hurts? Because it wasn't Hurts' fault they lost. I mean, Hurts didn't do anything to lose them this game. He had that little miscue when he moved the ball and fumbled.
yeah.
but they were scoring. I mean, they scored 35 points. Their defense, their elite defense that I was hyping up and a lot of people were hyping up, could not get a stop on injured Patrick Mahomes.
They couldn't even get a sack, and that was like their strong suit the whole year was that they sacked quarterbacks. They got 0 sacks in this game.
People were saying they had the number 1, like front 7, whatever you want to call it, in history, and they got no sacks. They gave up 38 points. They could not get a stop. So at what point are you going to say, okay, yes, we know they won, and Mahomes had 182 yards, 3 touchdowns. Okay, Hurts had 304 yards, 1 passing touchdown, but 3 rushing touchdowns.
Yeah.
And he only lost by 3, scoring 35 points.
Which is a record in the NFL. No one has ever scored 3 rushing touchdowns in the NFL. The quarterback.
In the Super Bowl.
In the Super Bowl, I mean.
In history. In history. No, it's happened before.
Yeah.
But
yeah, no, absolutely. I
has
mean,
that happened before where the loser
I think it's happened.
gets the MVP? I think it's happened once before, if I'm not mistaken.
Has the loser.
Because I was thinking about that today. I was like, yeah, because Jalen Hurts really outplayed Mahomes and honestly deserves it a lot more than Mahomes does. But they lost, so I understand why he doesn't get it.
Right.
But I was like, and that also would kind of suck to like lose the Super Bowl and then also win MVP. You have to like go accept your award. But
so Chuck Howley, he played in the 60s. So I mean,
So it
obviously
doesn't
nobody
count.
that we know.
Yeah.
But he did. He lost, and he won Super Bowl MVP. So I mean, I think Hurts definitely deserved it. I mean, not taking anything away from Mahomes. He came back, played through a lot of pain, willed his team to a win. But shout out to Hurts. I mean, he deserves his props for that.
yeah. And additionally as well, Mahomes was the first quarterback since 1999 to both win MVP in the regular season and then win a Super Bowl.
I didn't know the official stat, like the 1999, but I did. Like ever since, like we said, we talked about earlier, our first Super Bowl that we both watched was 49, and ever since I'm like, okay, this guy's won MVP, and he's in the Super Bowl. That's how it has tended to work.
Yeah.
Because you're the best player, you're probably going to the Super Bowl. And every year I'm like, wow, they lost. Like it's not like a stat I've like looked up, but every year I'm like, I don't know if I've ever seen it. Cam Newton. Yeah, we all know he lost in the Super Bowl. Matt Ryan won MVP, choked in the Super Bowl. I mean, all these instances, people go to the Super Bowl and then lose.
Yeah.
But this year, you're right. I thought about it going into this game. I was like, maybe Mahomes will break it. I don't know. Obviously, he did. So yeah, that's a big.
Yeah, definitely. Then obviously we're reaching the end of this game. Chiefs get the ball with 4 minutes to go. And I was like, man, 4 minutes? That's honestly a lot of time. The best
35 to 35.
35, tied up. It's like the best thing that the Chiefs can do is not give the ball back to the Eagles. I don't know like how they're going to do that because obviously you still need first downs. But you need to honestly like let time expire as you're kicking the field goal, and that would be your best bet because if you give the ball back to Hurts, like honestly, he's probably going to go down and score a touchdown. Like that's just how it's going to work. Like, or score whatever
the
he
Eagles'
needs.
defense hasn't stopped them.
I mean, I haven't stopped them all game, but it's what it is. So,
They're moving down the field.
And then Mahomes has
38.
Mahomes has like the play, dude. Like
the run.
the run. Like he runs for like 30 yards on this bum ankle to get him into the red zone to set up what would be the chip shot field goal to win the game. And then they just run a couple more plays. Obviously, everyone has seen or heard of the holding call on 3rd and 8, in which Juju is going out on his route, and then
James Bradbury.
on the break, James Bradbury holds him. Juju gets overthrown. The flag comes out. Don't with the quotes. It was a hold. Everyone knows it's a hold. But no one's arguing that it's a hold. What everyone's upset about is that the refs weren't calling those all game, right? The whole game, there weren't any holding calls. I mean, that's kind of what happens when you have two of the best teams, is that you're not going to have these stupid fouls. But there weren't many holding calls. There weren't any like pass interference calls. There was one offensive pass interference call, but that was it. The only calls were false start, like 2 false starts maybe, and then like 3 offsides.
Yeah.
And that was all of the calls.
I mean, yeah, like you said, I guess it's a hold. I mean, if that's what you're going to call a hold, anything could be a hold.
Well, that's what they've said, is anything
because,
can be a hold.
Because every single play, we'll play in a second, Debbie. like every single play that's happening. Like if you go pick out any play from any game this year and look in depth at the receivers in the corner. So you're going to see a little bit of tug at the break of the route. So yeah, if you're going to call that a holding, then everything's holding. What's making people really upset is they hadn't called that all game. They hadn't called that all season because it's a routine play, which people are tugged like that all the time. If they're not going to call it holding, they're not going to call it holding. You call this on a 3rd and 8 with a minute and a half to go in the Super Bowl, resulting in a Kansas City first down where they go down, kick, ultimately pretty much a walk-off game-winning field goal.
Yeah.
And
it impacted the game.
It completely impacted the game. I mean, I'm not here saying that if they didn't call that, the Eagles would have won. You can't deny that if they didn't, they wouldn't have had a better chance. I mean, they would have got the ball back with a minute 20 to go.
They had around 2
and
minutes.
They had a chance to go down and kick a field goal to tie or a touchdown to win. I mean, no one's denying that part, but just the fact that really makes people upset is now the last 2 games, people are saying there's a lot of controversy now with Chiefs. I mean, the Bengals game,
even last Super Bowl. That's what I saw a ton of people saying was Super Bowl.
There was nothing
the
wrong
same holding call happened.
Right, but
it wasn't as big as this holding call, but it was still a very
last Super Bowl. It doesn't really. I don't think it has much to do with that. I don't think there was much of a problem with that last Super Bowl. But
there's a lot of people making comparisons.
It looks like the Chiefs now are kind of like becoming kind of like what Tom Brady was. How everyone's like, dude, he gets every call. Like we talked about it earlier this year in the Falcons game when he got that roughing call at the end of the game. We're like, dude, he gets calls every game. That's happened for the last 10 years. And it's almost becoming, this is what the Chiefs are now. They got it in the AFC Championship, and now they got this. And it's like, dude, it's bad look for the NFL. I'm still going to watch, obviously. So is everybody. But it's a bad look for the league when it's like looking like 2 weeks in a row, you're going to propel this team to the Super Bowl and to win the Super Bowl.
Well, obviously, this was a hold. Even Bradbury came out after the game. He was like, yeah, I held him. I was hoping they wouldn't call it. Which, in this situation, I don't think they should have called it. I mean, at this point in the game, you let that play. It wasn't a blatant pass interference. Wasn't a blatant hold. I say don't call it, but they did. And I will hold now and hold forever that games are not won or lost by the referees. There are other plays in this game that won them and lost them this game. If Hurts doesn't fumble the ball and that gets returned for a touchdown, completely different story. If Butker doesn't doink the field goal, completely different story. There's 1,000 different plays in this game that actually determine the game. The referees are not the reason that the Eagles lost the game.
I'm not saying they're the reason, but obviously if they don't call that, the Eagles have the ball and they're going down. I'm not saying that's the sole reason they lost the game. You can point to a lot of things, but if that doesn't happen, it's a whole nother game. I'm not saying it's not that's why they lost. I mean, they lost fair and square. They lost. I mean, it's whatever, but it does suck to see. It was a great game. One of the better Super Bowls I've ever seen. One of the best Super Bowls in history. And it's being known for, it's being remembered as this. It sucks.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'd just like to point out that, yes, you can say whatever about the plays beforehand, but it was a very big deciding play, which sparked, regardless of whether you say it was the right call, which I don't think many people are saying it was the right call. Some people are saying, like you, Austin, that it was a holding call, which I think a lot of people agree, and no one's really saying that it wasn't holding. But like we're saying, it's such a crucial, like it's 3rd and 8. It's such a crucial play. You just should not call that, especially if you haven't called it the rest of the game. It also sparked a ton of outrage just at the NFL in general and at the refs.
Oh yeah, Philly's burning.
Philly's burning
burn
regardless. Well, Philly was always going to burn. There was no timeline in which Philly did go up in flames.
But I think I saw #rigged trending on Twitter for like a really long time last night, and today even there's still hashtags trending on Twitter.
I mean, you're going to hear all.
Well,
yes,
and you're always going to
let me be the first to bow to the whims of the almighty Twitter.
But I mean, okay, so like you can just run through. You can run through many, like, okay, I can just name you sports commentators that have agreed that this
Right,
was
but I don't really care
the
what they have to
stupidest
I
say.
don't
holding
really
call.
care what sports commentators have to
Okay.
say. I mean, last I checked, Stephen A. one time said that the Raiders were going to win, and also that the Chargers were going to score the most points
And they
in
played
the same game. So I don't really care what commentators have to say on the situation.
Right, I mean,
Right, I'm just saying. I'm just proving there's a lot of outrage. You
Right,
can't
no,
deny
yeah,
there's a
everyone's
ton of outrage,
yeah.
and from people that aren't even necessarily Eagles fans, but are just looking at it objectively and saying this is a terrible way to end a very good classic Super Bowl.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's agreeing on that. But
Yeah.
everyone has their own opinions on it. So the game ends. Chiefs kick. Oh, right. I mean, yeah, you can just play in
You
the
can,
background.
yeah.
But Chiefs kick the field goal, and then Eagles have pretty much one play. And Jalen Hurts. I'm not hating on Jalen Hurts. He played a great game, but this was the most pathetic Hail Mary attempt.
Oh yeah, this was like the saddest Hail Mary I've ever seen.
It was very. it was a short throw, but it didn't work. We'll just say that. And the Chiefs won. Now Mahomes, at 27 years old, has 2 regular season MVPs, 2 Super Bowl rings, 2 Super Bowl MVPs.
Yeah,
and he's 27.
And he's only 27. And he holds the record for most total yards in a season. I mean, Patrick Mahomes could retire right now and probably make it to the Hall of Fame with this resume.
I agree. I think so.
Yeah, I mean, obviously there will obviously always be the question of like if he retired now, right? It'd be the question of well, did he play long enough to deserve it? Well, it doesn't really matter because look at all he's accomplished in less than a decade, right? In 5 years. So obviously very, very well accomplished quarterback. In my opinion, I said this last night. I'll say this again. I got a lot of hate for it last night, but I think that Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback that I have seen play football, just based on the eye test. Obviously not yet by the stats.
Why'd you get hate for that?
I got so much hate for it.
Really? I mean, in my life, I didn't grow up watching Tom Brady. I watched Tom Brady towards the end of his career. Granted, it was still like 10 years, but he wasn't the crazy most talented QB. He would win, but he wasn't
Right. He was a
out
system
here.
quarterback.
Right. I mean, and Aaron Rodgers, he was very talented. He can make a lot of throws, but again, I never saw him do this. I never saw him win a Super Bowl since
Right, he
I've
was
been
out of
watching.
his prime since I've been watching.
Mahomes is out here. I've seen him from the start of his career to this point in his career, and he's out here doing things that no one's ever seen. He's doing no-look passes. He's playing through crazy ankle sprains. I mean, he can throw it 18 miles. I mean, yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
Do you think it's possible to compare? I mean, it's possible to compare, obviously, to some extent, but it's a different type of age, I feel like, with the Russian quarterbacks. I mean, there was Russian quarterbacks before,
Right.
but still, I feel like you can't directly compare just because of how important it's become to have a mobile quarterback. But
Well, I mean, I think that the NFL kind of ebbs and flows. I think that obviously when like I'd say Donovan McNabb was like the guy, right? Like then a lot of NFL teams were like, okay, well, a Russian quarterback is like what you need, right? So then a bunch of teams would go get those, and then you get notable names like Michael Vick, right? And then you kind of move away from that a little bit more. We're like, yeah, you get guys that'll like run to throw. You get into like the Aaron Rodgers, they run to throw, they're athletic. And then a lot of these Russian quarterbacks that are solely rushing, like for example, Lamar Jackson, they get injured. RG3, they get injured and they don't play as long, and then that's the end of them. And so that's like kind of a big downside to Russian quarterbacks. If Patrick Mahomes, he's a little bit more mobile, but he does kind of the early years of Aaron Rodgers thing where he doesn't run to run, he runs to get open so that way he can throw. I think that's a big difference. Just based on the eye test, like I was saying, I think Patrick Mahomes is the best. If he can play a full career, if he can play as long as Tom Brady did, or even...
No one's playing as long as Tom Brady.
Tom Brady played for 22 years. I mean, it's ridiculous. But even if he can play for 5 years less, if he can play for 17 years...
Oh, yeah. That's math. I can do math.
Right? If he can play for 17 years, I think that he'll be the greatest quarterback ever.
I mean, competition now is, I mean, more than ever. I mean, you got so many superstars, so it's harder to win rings to say now. But yeah, I mean, I don't disagree.
Yeah. All right. So now, Kadin, there obviously were a lot of good things about the Super Bowl, a lot of good things that we saw, a lot of things we liked, but there was also a lot of things that we hated. So really quickly, let's just talk about the best things that you saw on Super Bowl Sunday and the worst things that you saw on Super
The
Bowl
best
Sunday.
things and the worst things.
Yeah, just overall. It doesn't even have to be about the game. It can be about anything.
Okay. I don't know. I know Debbie's going to be mad at me for this one. This might be a hot take for Debbie. I don't know about you, maybe. I know where I was in the party I was at. This is not a hot take. This is a yes, you're correct, Kadin. But the commercials were terrible. I personally, I don't think there was like more than 2 commercials where I really was like, laugh. That was funny. No, I didn't think so. Like
The Debbie counter went up to 9 last night.
no,
on
that's why
funny
I was like,
commercials.
because we're in a group chat and Debbie was texting, oh, funny commercial number 1. Oh, it got up to 9. And I was like, where have you seen 9 funny commercials? I haven't. I'm sorry. Like,
Were you watching all the commercials?
Not every single one, but I was in the room for the whole game. And yeah, I mean, I'm watching the TV. I'm having conversations. But yeah, I mean, I didn't count 9 funny commercials.
Okay.
I thought they were like normal season of commercials for Super Bowl. And then stop. Let me finish, Debbie. and then like yesterday, it was like no, like yesterday's was trash.
Okay, for what I was expecting, I thought they were pretty good.
I think we needed more Whopper commercials.
Where was the Whopper commercial?
We didn't get any.
I
Whopper
wanted
commercials.
a new Whopper commercial. Do you know how much money they would have made if they like?
If you didn't know, Debbie is fast. It's like
Everyone is. It's not just
no,
me.
it's not
is.
everyone.
Yes, it is.
I think it's a really dumb
right
commercial.
now. If that is a thing, it is. Everyone is
I
making
hate
it a
that
meme. It
commercial,
is. It's true.
personally.
Okay. Regardless, shut up, Kaden. I'm gonna mute your mic. I have the power back here.
Let's just go to his.
I thought that. I mean, we have to go to. That's what we should do. We should do an episode of like watching the Super Bowl commercials and commenting. Maybe I don't know. We'll figure it out. But I thought they were pretty decent for what I was expecting. I'll just say that
Whatever.
they were semi decent. And I wasn't like every single one was like gut busting laughing. Like I wasn't like
There wasn't any of those.
right, but you know, I chuckled a little bit. I was like, huh, that's clever. That's good. So I wasn't saying they were all funny. I was saying some of them are clever. You know.
Yeah.
What was
I
one
don't
of
know.
your worst?
Yeah. Let's hear Austin.
One of my worsts. Let's see. I have 2 worsts.
Yeah, I have 2 as well. I'm gonna say another one in a minute.
I'm gonna go ahead and say, I don't know which one I want to list first as my worst. I'm gonna go ahead and say that one of my worsts was that they showed 0 Joe Bidens. That was one of the bets that we had talked about last week, and the line that I put was like 3.5 on showing of Joe Biden, and I did not see Joe Biden one time.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
There was no I'm pretty sure she wasn't in the stadium. They lied to us. She wasn't
They did a thing where it was like celebrities in the house, and they were showing all like the celebrities, and I was
Mr.
like, oh,
Beast was there.
yeah, like,
Elon Musk
yeah,
was
they
there.
showed all, and I was like,
LeBron.
oh, surely it's gonna show like Joe Biden or something. Nothing.
Yeah.
I was like, dang.
They showed Donna Kelsey
Was she
instead of Joe Biden.
Yeah, she was sitting with Roger Goodell.
Real?
I didn't. No,
Donna Kelsey.
Donna Kelsey was. I didn't see Joe Biden at the game.
No, I'm
at all.
talking about Donna Kelsey.
Yeah, no, I'm
Oh, that's my bad. Misunderstanding.
Yeah, I don't. That was one of my worst. It's
Yeah.
like where did that go?
Another one of my worst.
really wanted to see that.
I did. I
right.
wanted that 3.5 to hit.
I don't know how you're gonna feel on this. Another one of my worst. The new scoreboard. I loved.
Yes, Kaden.
I loved the old Fox. I mean, it was brand new. It came out the first year that the Chiefs went to the Super Bowl against the Niners, and it was new then. And I was like, oh, so it's not even that old. First of all, it's like what, 4 years old?
Yeah, 4
3.
years. Yeah.
I love that scoreboard. They use it for all Fox on college games, on NFL games. I love that scoreboard. And then, like, for the last couple of years, they bring out a new scoreboard every time, like, a new station has the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, I think it's going to stop this year because the Fox one's relatively new. And then they take this out when the game starts, and I was like, what is this? I'm like, that's stupid. Like, the old one was so much better. So that's definitely a worse. That was an L scoreboard.
It wasn't fantastic. I just looked it up and it said that she'll be in attendance.
Was she not there?
I'm trying to
Maybe
find
not.
that. I just don't see anything like.
So did you not like the scoreboard either?
I don't really care about the scoreboard. I still like that they show like the quarterback stats in the bottom corner. That's still good.
Old one needs to come back, man.
Another one of my worsts. and I think that this is definitely the worst. This kind of pertains to something that Debbie and I have discussed, and you were in this conversation as well. But definitely one of the worst of the entire Super Bowl Sunday was Jackson Mahomes.
Oh gosh. How in depth are we going here?
This was bad. Jackson Mahomes
Keep it relatively PG on here.
is not him. All
He's
right,
not
like
even-
this is how this relates. Okay, Debbie and I were talking, and you were in this conversation as well. This is why bullying needs to be a thing, guys. Okay, like if Jackson Mahomes just gets bullied a little bit more as a child, maybe he doesn't do these TikToks. Like how disgraceful is it? Like imagine for a second, Kadin, that your father was one of like a fantastic baseball player. Okay, he's a great baseball player. Okay, your brother is one of the best quarterbacks to ever play in the NFL and has won not one but 2 Super Bowls, which is one of the hardest things to do in sports. And he's only 27. And then you're loser butt. You sit up in the suite because your brother's playing on the field, and what you do after the game is you make TikTok videos without your shirt on.
Yeah,
How
no.
much of a loser are you?
No, I am not disagreeing with you.
I can't find the video.
No, we don't want to show the video, Debbie.
No, not the one where he's like, they're like, it wasn't that bad, but they were like announcing. Wait, okay, they were announcing or whatever, or like they were interviewing Mahomes, and then he's just like randomly like filming himself in the background of the video. It's so stupid. Like, bro, what are you doing?
He needs to go.
I don't think
Yes.
a single fan likes him.
Does
Like,
he?
no.
Okay, here's my question. Obviously, he's living off of Patrick Mahomes.
Oh, yeah.
Like, he's making zero. I mean, maybe he's making a little money from his TikTok, whatever. I don't know, man. Like, dude,
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely
no.
living off
He's
the
definitely-
$500 million that Patrick Mahomes makes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Poor Mahomes. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, imagine. That poor guy.
A W. You want me to say a good?
What's a good?
A good
Yeah,
is
let's finish this little segment with some
a
goods.
good. I was hating on the commercials, but a good is the what was it? Phoebe? Toby? What was the one?
The Tubi.
Tubi.
The Tubi commercial.
commercial was a
Tubby?
Tubby.
Tubby?
I don't know. The
Whatever.
one
Everyone knows what it
commercial
is.
where it got literally everyone. You can't say it didn't get you. The one where it came to it was commercial, but it looked like the game was back on, and it was Greg Olson and Kevin Burkhardt. They were standing there talking. It's like, oh, what do you think about the game so far? And then Greg Olson says, oh, and then like cuts it off, and like it switches, and it like brings up the menu, and then they click on Tubi. I don't know, whatever. They click on a app, and then it goes, and then it keeps moving down, and at this point, everyone's like, oh yeah, look, who's got the remote? And
Yeah,
then
here
they
it
go, yeah, here's the commercial.
This
if you
is
haven't
really
seen
good.
it, but yeah, it's great. I mean, they go, and then it looks like they clicked. I mean, you don't really need to hear it, but yeah,
Yeah, it was.
it looks like it looks like someone's sitting on the remote,
And it's like.
and it goes,
accidentally-
clicks on a whole, hits play. Oh my gosh,
It was good.
great
good.
commercial. Like,
And it was like fast too. Like they didn't spend much money on
yeah, and it got the point across. Everyone knows, like Tubi.
Everyone's talking about it. now.
Right, dude, it got everyone. It got me. We were all there, and I was like, whoa, like who's on the remote? Yeah,
Yeah. It's funny because like you go on social media and you'll see
the
like,
reactions.
Like, because some people have like cameras in their house, right? And so they'll be able to see their reactions. Like people like start fighting. So, like,
Oh.
who has the remote? Like people actually like start like peeling people off the couch or trying to find where the remote is until they realize it's a commercial. And it's like, oh, that's embarrassing.
I saw this thing,
Awesome.
and it's like not only does this poor Eagles fan have to deal with his team losing the Super Bowl, but now he has to find a way to apologize to his mother-in-law after some of the things that he said to her when the
TV
when the
commercial
commercial
came on,
came on.
yeah.
And he's like, oh crap. So that was definitely a W commercial.
All right. As we close this episode out, Caden, I have
Some more questions.
I have some questions. I labeled this section in our notes "The Real Questions with Austin." So, the first question is a little less intense. You don't.
these are life questions?
No, these have to do with the Eagles.
Oh.
The first of these questions is how long until you think the NFL bans the Eagles push, where you put the guys behind the quarterback and you all kind of push them forward?
I don't think they do. There's nothing illegal about it.
I know there's nothing illegal, but the NFL hates things that are an advantage.
No. I mean, any team could do it if they want to.
Yeah,
Get
I
a
give
good
it 2
O-line.
years. I give it 2 years.
Get a good offensive line.
I give it 2 years.
Just
It's
don't
gone.
have a stick of a quarterback.
Yeah, no,
2 years.
there's nothing wrong with it. They
Gone.
won't do
No,
it.
they'll get
Dude,
it.
if the NFL
Trust me.
bans that,
The NFL will ban it.
that's petty.
Trust me, they'll ban it. And then the bigger question, in my opinion, is obviously the Eagles made it to the Super Bowl. They have some of the best weapons in football, and all of that is made possible by Jalen Hurts being on a rookie contract.
Yeah.
Jalen Hurts is coming to the end of that, and he's going to want to get that bag. Okay? If he's smart, he won't want it this year, and he'll want to stay on his rookie contract so that they can maintain these weapons and hopefully run it back and make it to the Super Bowl and hopefully win it this next season. How do you think the Eagles approach that?
Well, a lot of the talk around, the league and things that I've heard is he's expected for him is $50 million a year, which is a lot of money.
That's a lot a year.
That's
like, yeah, that's Mahomes' money.
Yeah, that is Mahomes' money. Which he's not Mahomes,
Right.
but he took his team to the Super Bowl. He's a good quarterback, but like you said, it'd be smarter for him to take less money. I know he is a little more of a runner, so injury that does play a factor because you're like, I don't know, I'm not going to have as long of a career as Mahomes or Burrow or Herbert or more of these like pocket passers that can still move, but I definitely run more than them, so my risk of injury is higher. So I think it'd be smart for him to command less, like you said, because then they can get more weapons for him, retain the weapons they have. But realistically, I don't think that matters to him. He's going to want his money, and I think he's going to get around $50 million a year.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Should be pretty interesting. So obviously, Super Bowl's over. The NFL season is done. A couple important dates that I want to highlight as we move forward. February 28th through March 6th is the NFL Scouting Combine. Everyone knows about that. We'll probably talk about that a little bit, but honestly, that's pretty boring to me. March 7th, College Pro Days. Obviously, that's the day. This will be like the 1 year anniversary that Zach Wilson fooled us all. It made us think that he was a legitimate quarterback. March 13th through 15th is known as the negotiation period. This is when a lot of teams will renegotiate contracts and whatever, and most of them fall through and it doesn't work. March 15th is the official end of the 2022 season, the official start of the 2023 season. So everything's back open, free agency, trades, everything is good to go. And then at the end, April 27th through 29th is the NFL draft.
When the Panthers will hopefully be getting their franchise quarterback. I can't go through another Sam Darnold
No,
season.
Matt Corral is your guy.
Whatever. One date that Austin did leave off of the dates.
I bet.
Whatever. March 14th, or not March 16th is the first round of March Madness. So Kip put that on your
You
calendars
can see
as
how
well.
I left that out.
Whatever. Yeah. But and then also
Yes.
we do have the final scores for the pick'em.
Oh, no, we don't need to go through
We
these.
do. Austin's trying to finish the episode early.
No, we're trying to wrap this up. We don't want to see this stuff.
All right. So don't put it on yet. We got to suspense them.
Suspense them. What? The viewers.
Yeah. Not you.
Oh, yeah, I already know. Drum roll.
Yeah. So going into the season, we're like, we need a punishment for the pick'ems. So we put a poll up on our Instagram. Make sure you're following us at KA_football. And we put a vote out, and people voted, and the loser of the pick'ems would have to spend 24 hours straight at a Waffle House, but every waffle they ate would take an hour off their time. It's a very common punishment for fantasy football, it's a common thing. So it's nothing out of the ordinary. It's fun. I've always seen these videos. I'm like, that would be so much fun to know someone, take a part in that. Not be the eater, but take a part. And so we're doing it, and we go through. In week 1, I take about a 6-point lead. And then when week 2 comes around, and my lead jumps to 10, and then 15. And then it stays like that for the rest of the season. Austin didn't get within 5 games all season. Ladies and gentlemen, final score 174 to 156. 18-point win. It was fun playing.
Debbie still has
hopefully
more.
next season you bring some more logic and don't pick with your heart. Yeah, we're gonna have to have a new punishment next year. But
Next
I am
year-
very much looking forward to this Waffle House.
Next year when I
episode.
get every single game right for the entire
If you get
year.
every single game right, Austin, you need to go work for like
ESPN.
not K&A football. But yeah, so
Oh,
stay tuned for sure for that Waffle House episode.
Yeah.
It is official now. It's been official for like since week 2, but it is official now. Totally looking forward to that. Anything you want to say? Oh, I love that. What is that?
Yeah, if you're only listening and not on the YouTube, Debbie has photoshopped my face.
No,
onto
that's not photoshopped.
No, I mean that's not Photoshop. That is a 100% real picture of me working at a Waffle House. I work at Waffle House. That's a lie. I don't work at Waffle House.
But yeah, if you do, if you're listening to this and you know where we live, I'm not gonna say. If you know where we live and you work at a Waffle House and you know that it is totally legal for us to film in there and do this, please let us know because we don't really know.
It'll be fine. We'll film in there anyways. They can't stop
We're
us.
just gonna kind of do it.
They can't
It's
stop
gonna be
us.
great.
Obviously, that's not an episode that we can post on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all that stuff. So make sure that you're subscribed to our YouTube
And the Rumble.
and the Rumble, which Debbie loves to plug. That's obviously the show name, K&A Football, K_A. It's a very important differentiator there. Yeah. Anything else you'd like to say, Caden?
What's not that?
I don't think so. It is sad. This is episode 50.
Oh, that's a good thing to point out. Yep. This is episode 50.
I didn't even think of that. I scrolled
Yeah.
to the top and I was like, oh,
That's
50.
Yeah. Episode
That's a lot.
50. We are officially done with the NFL season. It seems like just yesterday we were sitting around a much smaller TV on these chairs with a terrible setup, picking our games on a cork board.
oh my.
So we'll have to do a little.
We
I don't know. We'll
came-
maybe make a little post of
We
how far
will.
we've come.
Yeah. We came such a long way.
We
Now we
did.
got this whole set. We got the TV.
Live stream.
We got the live stream. So I would just want to thank everyone that helped us get here. Obviously, Debbie, Margaret, Swillen, all of our producing crew. Debbie's parents for letting us
Jeremiah,
use Jeremiah
Harold.
for the TV, Harold for all the ideas,
KNF Construction,
KNF
Prince
Construction,
Forrest.
Prince, Ross Nisley for the idea to put all of the stuff on a TV.
Yeah.
It's been a good year.
It has. But we're not done. We're still posting
No.
during the off season. Make sure you keep listening. We're going to have a lot of fun stuff this off season.
Got a lot of content.
Yeah.
That's not a lie.
It is crazy. Like, I do remember, like, man, that's crazy. I forgot about the corkboard and stuff. That's wow. Literally, like, when we started this, we joked about it. And then Debbie was like, yo, like, do you guys actually want to do that? And we're like, sure.
Yeah,
And so we did. And then we came. And then I saw the setup. And at the time, I was like, whoa, like this is like we are ESPN, and it was a corkboard, and it was a tiny TV and a desk, and it was like
and
it
we
was
had,
like a
we had-
1847 laptop back there with Debbie, and it was like holy crap, we are ESPN.
the best part about it was we had like these glasses of water because like we did, and so we'd like drink the water throughout the episode, but none of it was live streamed, and so then we would film our intro at the end, and so like our water would be empty when we would at the intro, and then like when the video would actually start, the water would be full.
Hey, we have made it far.
Yeah, we
50 episodes. That's 100 times that I've drove. At least 100. It's definitely been way more than 100. But 100 times I've drove from my house to Debbie's house, which is a long way, which is a lot of gas money, which is why I should be getting endorsed by K&A.
Actually, because you were driving that one episode.
true story.
Oh, you're right. I forgot about that too.
So, no, actually 48. I can do math.
Math.
No, because we actually did film that episode.
That's
You were
true.
Driving to my house.
No, that episode did happen though, Debbie.
Yeah, we filmed it and then
Remember
you
that, and then it got
lost
deleted.
like,
Oh, you're
everything.
right. I just listened to that.
The one episode that will never be seen by any viewer.
No, there's actually
Somewhere on my computer
there's
somewhere.
2 episodes that have never been seen
It's true.
because
That's
episode like 3 was so terrible. It was like our third ever one. It was like the second day of the podcast. But yeah, Debbie's mad that I just said that. It's okay.
It's fine.
That's a joke, guys. We did not do
all
that.
episodes are released. Everything is guaranteed to be 100% correct the first time, like I always say.
If you guys didn't see this, it's because Debbie took it out. But yeah.
All right, yeah. So thank you guys for tuning in. This was our Super Bowl recap. Obviously, we've been really happy to have you guys along, and we have a lot of stuff coming up for the off season, not the least of which is the unfortunate Waffle House episode. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll catch you guys next time. Thanks for watching this episode of K&A Football. You can listen to our podcast wherever you get your podcasts, and we're also active on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube Shorts.
If you made it this far in the video, thank you. You're a real one. We'll see you next time.